Okay, let's talk a little bit about drawing and composition. So, I'm inspired by a couple of photos that I have here. It's like I really like the positioning of this bird, really like the color and the anatomy of this one. It's very good, and I really like the nature in that picture. So, I don't want to do a copy of anything, I want to make it creative. I'm going to try to make a mix of everything, meaning I need to understand the shape, I need to understand how it works, because again, I don't want to do a copy. So I want to keep this motion, and I want to do this bird pretty much with this positioning. So I have started with a yellow ochre graphite that I like because it allows me to be a little bit messy, and then I can fix it after. I need to try to feel the volumes. We need to understand that it's a three-dimensional shape into a two-dimensional flat surface. So yeah, it does things like this around here. Here we would have a branch with the leg and the feet of the bird coming around here, and the other foot would not probably not be visible. I want to do the wing here. I just really need to feel the flow that I want to do. And to do a good composition, one of the tools is to divide the canvas into four pieces, trying to avoid putting something on the middle. If we do, our eyes is going to be automatically directed here, and it could be useful. Some people use this spot, but I'm not going to for this one. And the goal is to try to make every spot interesting. So here there would be the face, part of the body, a bit of the branch going away, with some leaves that are a little bit like a. And I want to do the bird almost ready to grab a berry in its mouth. A nice reddish, or I don't know, just a fruit. It doesn't even have to be real. It doesn't have to fit any actual plant at all. Like same as the bird. Like I took the freedom to do a very long beak and to do this part. And this bird obviously has very short, small beak, but it has this helmet-like feathers. But I'm taking the freedom of mixing what I want and what I see, just to make it more creative. That's all it is. The feathers going a little bit upwards. I want to do this wing right here. I think it's so beautiful. So many small feathers. Feathers. I don't know how to say it. And it's a little bit messy. It's not too organized, and I like it. The fact that it's random. So the fact to have a very light pencil is good because I can take the freedom to do so many lines, and then after pretty much to pick the one I want to use. Like we have to see that there is a little bit of the sensation of a full volume like this, almost like a cylinder. And here we need to do the tail, and for the tail I'm going to use the tail of this bird because it's just so beautiful. So let's just do this. And here there is the body of the bird that is not completely hidden by the wing. Again, the branch is not just two lines like that, it's actually a three-dimensional shape that is going to go towards this way over there. I'm drawing this line just for me to visualize and feel what I mean by that. That's what it is for. So the point again is not to copy, is really to try to understand the volumes and to make it feel right. That's really what we want here. It's not a copy. I'm not trying to do a photorealistic drawing for now. Either painting is not going to be photorealistic, by the way. So to come back to the fact to divide the canvas in four pieces and trying to isolate in your mind these four pieces to make it interesting. So for example, for this one, maybe it could be interesting to add something there. So I'm just going to mark a little bit. I'm just going to mark something, or maybe that way. That could be interesting. This wave could go well with the face, and it makes an opposite. Like you see, this one is here, and this one goes the symmetrical opposite on this axis here. If you make it follow exactly the same shape, it's going to look, you know, you're going to take away the tension of it. So you want to make an opposite. And this line could have been interesting too, because it is also an opposite compared to this line. But I don't know, I feel like the fact that it goes straight to the head might not be the best idea. So I don't know what I'm going to do here. It could be just the background, it could be something blurry. I just know I need to keep some interest in this area. I just don't know yet what it is going to be. It doesn't have to be another branch, it doesn't have to be another fruit. It could be just the light of the background that he may be a little bit more transparent, for example. That just could be interesting. If there is this diagonal taken by the wood, and there is, let's say, a little bit of this shape here coming here that is might be a little bit either darker, or maybe some glares, or some of this circular light, we will see. I just know I need to keep the interest here. This part here is interesting enough. I'm probably going to add some fruits. Thinking of the opposite, I'm going to go for fruit probably that's going to be that way. And they're going to be smaller than these ones because I want the attraction, the focal point to be here. So these fruits there are going to be smaller because also more far. And some of them behind the spikes. It's not spikes, it's leaves, but it's spiky leaves. I don't want to over detail the leaves because I want to keep the focus on the bird. That's very important. So I'm going to do a hierarchy of details and of tonalities in the draw. So we can see the tail has the orangey part, the very red part, and the weird red pattern. So we're going to come from here. That's the top of the head, middle of the neck, spine right there. So it is probably going to be the very red part that we see here. And on the top here, the orange part, that is going to be like very hairy and covering a part of it, and to cover a part of this red stuff right there. So it's like a puffy hairy tail that goes towards feathers after. And there is like a straighter big feather that goes. So either I'm taking it down, or I take it up. I don't know. Both can be interesting. The S shape is a classical, it is nice, but this could be also good, so I don't know. For now, I'm going to go with the feeling. My feeling tells me to go up. But feeling change, and depending of if it's today or tomorrow, I might as well have choose the other direction, and that would have been okay. I'm not worried too much about this area, this. It's not that it's not important, but all these places are going to be meant to increase the attention in the middle. That's important. Like I'm almost like the final lines, so I have to be a bit more careful with what I'm doing. I don't have to do every single details, but I want to make sure I know where I'm going when I'm going to paint after. We also have to decide where the light is, where it's from, stuff like that. So again, what we want is not to copy, it's to make it feel right. This is the middle. I like to place the middle. It's worth taking some time to do the draw, clearly. And it's a good workout. Sometimes it's frustrating because you did a good drawing and you're like, fuck, I have now to cover it. But it does really worth it. So now I have to think of this helmet shape, which is apparently made with so many tiny feathers that are like a fish, almost like fish skin. So I need to think about it. It's good to keep it a little bit out of control, kind of. You don't want it to too much like a precise pattern. Sometimes you do, but usually in nature there's a lot of randomness happening. And then the back of it, there is this green part that goes, let's say, like that. So I'm always referring to the middle, to the line in the middle, to make sure I am correct and symmetrical on the shape of my bird. This part here, we can feel the shoulder, we can feel like there is a bump, and this is the flat area of the back. This flat area is here, and now I want to do the bump of the wing. And it's not so much of a circle, we can see there is angles due to the bones. I don't know exactly I'm going to render this, but for now I'm just going to do these lines. They're just going to help me understanding the shape. The background, honestly, for now I don't really care. I just really care about the bird itself. I think it starts to look pretty good. Now we're going to jump here. So now the wing, I completely disbird. Because this bird, I mean, these tiny wings, I'm not a big fan of it, so I just want to have the wings of this bird. Always keep in mind that it's a volume that you're drawing. So the wings that you're going here to see from the front like that, you're going to see them flat, the feathers, sorry. Here you're going to see, you see them from the side, right? And eventually it's going to catch up with the front. And here there is a subjunction with this part. The hatchet are good because you can give the sensation of the direction that it goes. If you're like super strong in drawing and if you feel super confident, you can always just paint right away your bird. It's always an option, but it's going to be a little more tricky. So, and it's good to know how to draw. It's important to draw. Like usually, the master of the past knew how to draw. Obviously, very good. And usually the better painters, they are really good drawers. Like the fact to draw is going to make everything more easy after. So it's important to go through the fundamentals to understand where the light strikes, why, the rendering of volumes, stuff like that is super important. So here's the same, like here the feather is like this, then here you see it from the side, and here you see it from the side too. And here it's like middle, and here it's like middle. And so it gives this impression of the bump coming towards us. That is so important. Otherwise you're going to have a bird that just look flat. I don't want that. I don't want to draw every details here because the light is probably going to strike from the top. So this part is going to be pretty dark inside here with the terminator around here probably. The terminator is the darkest spot between the light and the shadow. Here you have the light, here you have the reflection of the world into the shadow, and in the middle you have the darkest spot. We call it the terminator. It's a fundamental of drawing, and if you guys are interested about it, you just tell me and I will do a video about the fundamentals, and then after you practice it for a couple of hours, and then you're good. So you see, when I draw my feathers, I have my direction, I know towards where they're supposed to go, but I'm not overthinking which feather and where and why and stuff like this. I'm adding a little bit, maybe too many lines sometimes, but then I'm going to pick which one I want to keep and which one I don't want to keep. And I think it's a good way to keep it organic to the eye, so it doesn't look too organized. So the tummy now is like almost completely flat towards down here. It's not a flat surface like this. It's turning around. It's looping around. See that? And I'm not going to draw this after or to paint this. I'm just doing it so that I see the volumes taking shape, and that's very important.